In this video, I'm talking to my potential sellers out there. What are some questions you're asking or that you want to know before selling your home? You want to keep on watching. What's up? It's Riggs here, a realtor with Coldwell Banker King Thompson, bringing you all things real estate here in Central Ohio. Today we're talking about you wanting to list your home for sale and some questions you may have or things you should be asking a potential real estate agent if you're looking to do that. So let's get started. The question I think most of you have if you're looking to sell your home is, how does the market look right now? At the time of this video, we are amongst a pandemic, COVID-19 and the coronavirus, and that is a very real question that many sellers have is, what is happening in the real estate market? Is now even a good time to do this? And the answer is, it's going to depend on your respective market. I can speak to Columbus. We saw a bit of a decline. I've got several videos that I will link down in the description box if you want to see some of the trends that have been happening in Columbus over the last several weeks due to the pandemic. But yes, we were a very hot market. We saw a little bit of a dip, but we are now on a bit of an upswing. And again, it wasn't major, but I mean, let's be real, the pandemic hit all of us and we're still very much impacted and will be for some time to come. So it's going to depend on what your market looks like, but I can tell you here for Columbus, yes, it is still a wonderful time to list your home for sale. Now, all of the precautions need to be taken to ensure you're safe as well as any potential buyers that come through, and your real estate agent can be a great guide here on what things should happen in terms of showing activity, ensuring gloves, masks, hand sanitizer, wipes, things are used and worn. But all that stuff we can figure out, but you definitely want to take those precautions. But again, if you're looking to sell right now, it's going to be dependent upon your market. Here in Columbus, things are favorable to sell because we have low inventory and a lot more buyers. So it creates a wonderful seller's market for you. The next question I think I get often is, when should I do it? So I know I know what the market looks like, but when? In the past, it used to be springtime was always a wonderful time to list. Going into summer was fantastic. But the reality is, in my honest opinion, when should you sell depends on when you are ready. It really does. Now, your real estate agent can give you some insight into if you're going to list right around a holiday and historically things don't do well then for your market. Maybe that's not ideal. But at the end of the day, especially here in Columbus, we're in a seller's market and have been for some time. So if you have a home that is priced right, is in good condition, in a location that people really are seeking, the timing really depends on when you are ready. So give that some thought. Think about what your plan is. Are you moving into a new home? Are you relocating to another area? I think you got to think about all these factors and how it impacts you to make sure timing aligns. Because I always tell my seller clients, if you're selling your home and you're buying another one, let's align that so you move one time. And so those are all kind of things and strategies that you would want to talk to your hired real estate agent about. Another question you might be thinking is, how do you get your home ready to sell? Now, right now at the time of this video with the pandemic, you've got a whole series of things that you want to just have prepared that your agent can help you do. But let's talk about the things that you can control. The first thing you want to do is really evaluate, are there any repairs that are needed in your home? Don't get caught up with repairs and upgrades. Those are different, okay? You can't expect to go put a lot of money in upgrades to make your home more appealing and always expect to get that translated back to you in terms of dollars in the sale. You can find in some cases you're going to be out money doing that. So be careful in that regard. But I am talking repairs. So if you've got paint that needs to be done or carpets that need to be cleaned or nicks and dings here and there, think of what things need to be repaired, especially anything that can be deemed as material. Thinking of leaks in the bathroom, leaks at the tub, ceiling, light fixtures that are damaged or broken. These are all things that can change buyer perception of the property. If they see these things aren't cared for, it really makes them question, How well was the home maintained over the life of time that you owned it? That perception is everything. You can't want a higher price if the buyer perception of value isn't there. You're obviously going to want to tidy up your space and declutter as much as possible. And then I also suggest that you consider removing any valuables in your home, really put up any medications out of any visible site, and remove any of those belongings that are very personal. So I think of family photos, family heirlooms, things like that. You really want to give buyers the ability to come into your home, although I know you still live there, but you need them to see themselves living there. And sometimes your home can't lend to that if you have all of those things really cluttering the view. So you may want to consider some level of staging depending on the home, if you can do that. But quite honestly, we're all still living in our homes many times while we're selling them. This can all be accomplished very simply if you have the right plan, and I've given you some tips to get started. Another popular question I get often is, can I use Zillow and the Zestimate and the tax auditor site? Can I use those to determine the value of my home? And my response to you, humbly and respectfully, is no, no, no. Now, listen, I don't want to discredit those sites. They are two very different things. Your county auditor site it says market value, but it is not a true market value. It is a formula and an evaluation used to determine your taxes. Reality is, if they took the market value and had you pay taxes on that, we'd all be paying so much more in tax. So you can't use the county auditor as a way to determine the true value of your property. So put that aside. Now, when you're looking at others like Zillow and the Zestimate, reality is they're pulling all that data from various databases and resources. And the truth is, those have gotten better over the years. So yes, those values can get you closer to what the value is, but I highly recommend that you connect with an agent who can pull actual comps and be able to look at the value. They can actually assess more than just what it's sold for and really look at the features of the home, updates in the home, etc., that can really impact value. So again, I'm not discrediting the Zillow and the Zestimates and things like that, but be careful because they are not true market value, because they're not getting true data from the MLS sources that will allow you to dig deeper into how they got to the price. Perfect example right now is we're in a seller's market here in Columbus. And for many homes, we are seeing much higher prices. Keep in mind, people are offering way more for those homes than what the appraisal is coming back for, but they are in a position to pay money out of pocket to cover that shortage. See, if those sources like the Zestimates are taking that data, they're giving you a little bit of misleading information because the home's value isn't always at what the comp is showing, because there may be concessions there of $3,000 or the buyer paid $10,000 to make it work due to a short appraisal. So keep that in mind. It's a great guide to start with and allow you to have a much more informed conversation with your real estate agent. Another item you might be thinking is, should I price my home higher and allow room for negotiations? Listen, it's your home. You could do whatever you like to do, but I highly advise against that. And the reason is it will cost you days on market and it costs you the overall buyer perception. Here's the thing. Buyers in today's market, many of them are incredibly savvy. The same way you're going online to do your level of due diligence, so are they. And so they're able to look on Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, etc. to see some sold comps in the area. They are able to get informed even before they start working with the real estate agent. And then when many of them get connected, that real estate agent's going to pull comps for your home to inform their buying decision. You best believe if they see the value of your home, if what you've listed it for is $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 more, they're coming in wanting to see that value in your home. And if you can't deliver on that, you make them just check out and go, why are you trying to take advantage of me? right? And so you may find your home is sitting on the market longer than needed. And the longer your home sits on the market, as each day goes by, you have more and more of their questions in the buyer's mind is, what's wrong with the home? What's wrong with the area? Why is it priced too high? Because that's just the reality of how that works. Again, I've said it earlier, if you have a home that is priced right, is in condition that warrants the price, and in a location that is desirable for people, it likely will go into contract fairly quickly. That is what reigns true here in my market in Columbus. Your market may be a little bit different, but that is just kind of the norm, right? People want to see the value. So keep in mind wanting to price your home high for negotiations. Trust me, allow buyers to fight it out if they want the home. The price can naturally get pushed back up, and they may be willing to add some money on that to secure it, which works better for you than spending days on market trying to get this amount when you could have gotten an amount right here. Another popular question later on once you're in contract is all around the appraisal. I think most of us understand how inspections work and how those happen and what they're looking for, so I'll skip over that. Maybe I'll do that in another video. But appraisals are that one that really can make or break a deal, and it's never the intent. Again, it is never the intent of an appraiser to break a deal or to blow a deal. That's not their role. Their job and what they're hired for by the lender. So not even by the buyer. Yes, the buyer pays the money for the appraisal, but the appraiser is hired by the lender to protect the collateral that buyer has to take out to get the loan. So the lender just wants to know the true value of the home to compare that to what the buyer says they want to purchase it for, because the lender is going to lend money accordingly. So the appraisal determines value. Folks will ask, what do I do if I have a short appraisal? And it's pretty simple. If there's a short appraisal, which means the value that the buyer said they would purchase it for, the appraisal comes in less than that. And that less can be whatever it can be. It depends on the comps pulled. But it means there's a difference, a shortage, okay? If that happens, here's what can happen. You, being the seller, and the buyer can renegotiate the price to be the shortage, so be that lower amount that the appraisal came in for. So example, if the home is being purchased, the buyer says I'll pay $100,000, but the appraisal comes in at $98,000, all parties renegotiate the price to $98,000, okay? Yes, you're losing $2,000 in that example, but you're still in contract, right? The other option is the buyer can agree to put the additional $2,000, using my same example, to bring that back to $100,000. The challenge with that is not all buyers are permitted to do that by their lender, depending on their financial circumstances. So yes, some may be able to, but if that buyer hasn't already agreed to that arrangement in the purchase contract, they're likely not going to want to do that once they know what the appraisal is. Yes, it could all be negotiated, no doubt, but you may find they're not so open to it at that point, especially if they've already given in on some of the remedy items if they had an inspection and remedy period with you. Now, the other item is if you guys don't come to an agreement, guess what's going to happen? Yeah, you're terminating your purchase contract with that buyer. And that's not where you want to be, because you've had the home off the market. You've gone through all this stuff. You're likely packed up and almost ready to go at this point. It's not ideal, but it's going to depend on what you and the buyer can negotiate through your agents. And in most cases, things can work out. In other cases, they don't. But it's going to all start with, how did you price the home to start with? And if you've done any updates, do you have a list of those that you can provide to the appraiser to justify the price that the buyer has in contract? That is the best way you can tackle it, is to price it accordingly, and any updates that are putting you higher than other comps in your area, put together an update list and put together comps and get your agent to get those to the appraiser so that they can understand all the money you've put into the property. Doesn't mean you're going to get it back, but it sure does help them know what you've done at the level of upgrades and updates you've done in the home as well. Well, there you have it. I hope this was helpful to give you some tips, some things you might be thinking about that I hope I answered for you, or some things you might want to start some conversations with your agent on if you're looking to sell your home. As always, I'm here for you, so if you have any questions, leave those down in the comment section. I've also have contact information in the description box if you want to reach out to me as well. I'll be happy to connect with you. I want to thank you so much for watching. You stay fabulous and productive and well, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.